seems like you got a really deep group. How would you describe when you got, you got a lot of pieces, a lot of guys they seem to complement each other. It seems to be a theme for the team across position groups, but your group in particular seems to have that
Yeah,
quality.
yeah, I think they do a great job of complementing each other, and I think that makes competition in the room because so many guys are good at different things, and it's, to me, it's finding the right times to get them in a game and what they're best at and what situations they're supposed to be in on, and finding those times to get them in practice. And then we also got to work on the things we're not as good at in that group. But I think they've done an awesome job of working together and understanding it's not just the three starters or the twos, it's everybody. And I think it's been awesome. They've been really pushing each other.
I would assume that in your prior role here at Iowa State, Caleb Bacon, someone you're pretty familiar with when you came back here, just kind of get into just how different of a guy he was when you got back here versus when you went to North Texas.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is he probably talks a little bit more and smiles a little bit more. But, yeah, he's completely transformed who he is as a player and a person. And I think a lot of guys over the years have done that in this program. But that's a credit to him. That's a credit to the support staff and everybody else in our building that touches our guys' lives. So it's been awesome to see him.
You guys, I understand maybe, 20-30% of the time you ran four-man fronts last year.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you weren't a part of the staff then, but how does that change, like, linebacker responsibilities, or if you've only got two guys on the field? I mean, how does that maybe change the mindset of those guys that are out there?
Yeah, I don't think it changes a whole lot for our guys. Like, obviously, the fits change a little bit and what we're doing in pass drop responsibility, but it's still about how we do things, our fundamentals, our techniques, how we use our hands, how we're dropping to our people. So it doesn't change a whole lot from my coaching perspective of it. They just got to know that the gaps are a little bit different because we got another big guy down there, which is good for our guys because it keeps those O-linemen off us.
Zach Lovett, coming off a successful season as a reserve, what have you seen from him in the spring and the summer that he's ready to kind of take that next step to a starting role?
Yeah, I think Zach's completely transformed who he is as a person as well as who he is physically. Like, he's lost a little bit of weight and gained a bunch of muscle. He's a mature guy in the room that is vocal with positivity, and I think for him is finding the things that he's really good at. Like last year, you would have seen him spying the quarterback and rushing a little bit and getting him better at those things as well as playing true Mike linebacker. So I'm really happy where Zach's at, and he's got to continue to press forward.
And then a name that's come up a couple of times out of the young guys is Cooper Ebel in terms of his growth. What have you seen from him spring, summer, in terms of how he's grown as a player and what he could bring this year?
Yeah, he's a guy that's gotten better every day. Obviously, he played a little bit last year on some special teams and on defense, but he's a guy that's made the most of all his opportunities and got better every day, which has been good to see. And he's completely transformed what he looked like day one when he got here. He was 190 pounds in high school, and he's almost 245 right now. So he's a guy that should make a huge impact in our room this year.
Caleb Bacon talked about how important it was for him to continue to stay hungry after he put on scholarship prior to the bowl game. How have you seen him maintain a level of commitment to achieving more this fall training camp?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. I don't feel like that's ever been his mindset. I think he's always seen it as work and competition. He's always worked really hard. I know from my end, I am hard on Caleb because I don't want him to get complacent, because you can at times when you hear about all the good things people are saying about you. But he's done an awesome job of working hard every day, and his role has changed to being more vocal in the linebacker room and pushing the other guys. So I think he's done a fantastic job.
How important is it for him to be a vocal leader in that position group after Gary Vaughn departs, and obviously Jack Stowski returns as a sophomore, started every game last year?
I think it is really important, but at the same time, it's a really good group of guys, and they work together really well. I think he's starting to emerge as more of a vocal leader because he's a guy that's a really good football player, and he's played a lot of football, and the football aspect of it, he's not as thinking out there as much because he's reacting. So he can be more vocal, where maybe some of those young guys have to, they got to lock in on the football a little bit more and aren't able to be vocal.
You guys lost half of that tandem on the outside with Willich getting hurt out for the year. You've got McLaughlin back, but curious how that depth has kind of looked this in camp with the Sam linebacker position, if you've moved any guys like outside or just how that looks.
Yeah, to me, the Sam and the Will are really just both outside linebackers. They're the same position. They just play in a little bit different spatial area depending on where the ball is on the field. So I think, we've had guys, young guys like Cale Berzina, who's done a great job at Sam linebacker. Jacob Ellis, has played both Will and Sam, has done a great job. A young guy that is starting to show up a little bit is Bo Goodwin. So we've had a lot of guys do a lot of really good things. So I'm pleased with where we're at right now. We're still early in camp, and we'll see where we are before the first game.
Will McLaughlin's a guy who certainly made some big plays, but was kind of thrust into some tough situations at times as a younger guy. How has he continued to progress as well?
I think he's done a great job from the mental aspect of it. He's a really savvy football player. My challenge to him is really, what are you doing in the film room? What's your preparation? Because great preparation leads to great anticipation. And that's where he's really been challenged and done a great job, because he does have natural instincts. So if he knows what the formation means and what they're doing on certain downs and distances, it can really up his productivity.
Saturday, obviously a big day for your guys' program as a whole in the scrimmage. What do you feel like that day showed you about your position group?
I think they're resilient. Like there's obviously ups and downs in a scrimmage. The offense has got good players and we got good players, but to continue to push through and keep pushing the envelope, I think is the most important, and not get too high and get too low, and make sure they play with emotion and not become the emotional players out there. I think they did a great job of that. But we do have a lot of room for growth, which is positive.
And then for you personally, you are obviously coaching the group in the spring, but how much more comfortable are you on the field coaching the position in the fall after you're just kind of getting used to them in the spring and everything? I just feel like we're just closer naturally, like you would if you do anything in life and you spend more time with people. I think the one thing for me is I was involved in a lot of the recruitment of these guys, so I had a prior relationship. But it was really getting to know each other, our ins and our outs and our mannerisms and what our body language is saying, I think is big. So we've had a lot of fun. They know when it's time to go and be serious, and they know when it's time where we can enjoy each other a little bit. So I think that was been good, and really getting to know each other that way.